Welcome back to another video. This episode we're going to transfer files to our hard disk images. First we're going to download SofaRun 8.0 and then we also need DiskExplorer. And just type in these two words and you'll find it. And this is the latest version. It's a Japanese version. Here's the link. The other one is an English version, but the Japanese version has some better updates. I just showed you how to download it. Then we also unpack SofaRun to our desktop MSX/SR SofaRun. There it is. That's our SofaRun, and we also have EditDisk in there. Let's start up our MSX with IDE and Mega Flash ROM SCC+. We boot in the IDE, and on the D drive we have the Mega Flash ROM SCC+. We go to the B drive. We are going to create directories. First, SofaRun directory SR and a directory called disks. Then we go to the D drive and do the same thing. We also create a SofaRun folder. Now that we've done that, I'm not going to add a diskette to the drive, but a directory as a disk. We'll select the SofaRun disk we just unpacked. The E drive is now the folder of SofaRun. We go to the B drive and enter the SofaRun folder. Now we copy E:*** to B:**. When you press F9, you speed it up. That's a function of openMSX. All the files have now been copied to the B drive. We're going to do the same on the D drive, only this time I'm going to do the same thing, but then inside of Multi-Mente. We're now in the SofaRun folder on the D drive. Now we're going to the E drive, select all the files on the E drive, and we're going to press C, copy to D:**, enter. And again press F9 to fast forward. That's done. Now we have 2 times SofaRun on our system, on the IDE disk image and on the Mega Flash ROM. We go to the A drive and we're going to turn the power off with the console of openMSX. So set power off. Here we have our ROM folders. I have MSX and MSX Turbo ROMs. We're going to move these to our documents folder. They're now here. And from the documents folder, openMSX can read them onto our hard disk image. We type in diskmanipulator, make directory, and we say HDA1. That stands for hard disk image A, partition 1. And we say /ROMs, and we'll create a folder called ROMs in the disk image. And then we say check directory. We'll check the directory called ROMs. So this folder is now selected on our disk image. Now we're going to type in diskmanipulator import to HDA1. We're going to import files from our documents folder to the HDA1. And you have to do that with this tilde and then /ROMs. All files have been copied, but some files have names longer than 8 characters. The files have been compressed to 8-character file names in openMSX. These are preserved. That means they stay the same on the original spot. We start up MSX again. IDE and then the Mega Flash ROM. All the files should have been copied to the A drive. We can only copy them to the A drive because that's the FAT12 partition. Somehow you cannot copy all these files to the B drive. That's a FAT16 partition. Many files with underscores in them. Underscores means they have been compressed to 8 character size ROM files. We have 2 folders full of ROMs. Now we're going to the D drive and start up Multi-Mente. No, we're going back to the B drive and we're going to create the ROMs folder as well. We're going to copy all the ROMs from our A drive to the B drive. And we're going to do that with Multi-Mente. First, we go to the B drive to the ROMs folder. And then we go to the A drive and then we press space and space to MSX and MSX Turbo. And then we press M for move and then we type in B : and it will move the files to the B drive /ROMs directory. Again, we press fast forward because there are a lot of ROMs it has to move over from A to B. And even a zip file. Remember that one. We'll see that later. All the files have been copied to the B drive. The A drive's ROMs folder is empty. And on the B, we now have MSX and MSX Turbo folders in the ROMs directory. They're full with ROM files. Okay, that's that. We're going to close openMSX again. Take out that disk. And we're going to copy files to the IDE. We're going to open EditDisk. And it will open a window. And I'll have to, yes, here it is. We go to Documents, openMSX, Persistent, IDE, Untitled 1, and there's our hard disk image, HD1 master disk. And then we select VMware plain disk. We have to select that one or else it will beep up our disk image. And then we select the right partition, partition B. We're going to the disks. I have all these disks on my MSX drives, MSX2 and MSX2 Plus. And you see how fast it has been copied to it. You just drag and drop. If we now start up the IDE, starts, all the files we just dragged and dropped into the disk image with edit disk will now be on the B drive. Let's check. First we go to D. We're going to check it with Multi-Mente. Oh no, we're going to use SofaRun, of course. It will create 3 folders when you start it up the first time. We're going to B drive, and now we have MSX2 disks. See, full of disks. And we also have MSX2 Plus disks, not so many. Now we also have ROMs, and we have ROMs. No, not on the A drive. Go to the B drive. We go back to the main, then we have ROMs, and here we have MSX1 ROMs, a whole bunch of ROMs, Konami ROMs, and we also have a zip folder, MSX Turbo, Konami C.zip. Here you can see full names of files. In SofaRun it can display the full length of file names, and that's cool. But the loading times are a bit longer the first time. We're gonna quit SofaRun, and that's it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial I'll show you more about SofaRun, how it works, how it prioritizes, and here you can also see it has created 3 directories: saves, temporary, and settings. Close everything. That's it for this video. One of the last videos next time about SofaRun and Multi-Mente. Bye!